So now what I'm going to do is we'll come right back around and we'll start from the beginning and we'll add these two in to our set up to now. So back we come, your starting position. And here we go, sinking and stepping out to the left and rocking motion. And just start coming and checking with those different places of awareness at your feet, your lower back, your hands, your wrists. So there's always a moving into deeper awareness with each movement. We'll do two more here. Sometimes it's really useful just to kind of get the whole feel of it, as if feeling like, okay, here's my last chance to get this as I come in. And so just to really let yourself have it as fully as you can and coming to a close. All right, and then bird flats its wings. Bringing the charge together, sinking and releasing. Second time. And then the third time we come out, around that disc, around, and in. Sink, heels slightly lifted. Sink, and as you come in, start to feel that engagement of charge right from the very beginning of coming in, and around, really feeling how it helps to start working through your wrists. And one last time, out, and out, and around. And in and up, above, and down into your resting position. And then we come into our first platter. Forward and back. So as we move into this new stage of our set of doing the forward back movements, then it's really useful to start to revisit right from the foot up and really start to get the sensations of contact. The more you can get how you are contacting, the more it will inform your movements. It'll self-correct you just by really feeling how your feet come across the floor, how the weight transfer happens between forward and back foot, how the sense of heavy air engages with the heels of your hands. We'll come around one more time and back. Good. And then the second one, over the front foot. So we've reversed our circle now. And as you drop into your body, you'll probably also notice how your pace awareness changes. How all the places where restrained energy, where tension has been holding charge in your body, as it starts to move, you can start feeling how it also has been accelerating your movements. And to just start to drop into the spreading sensory awareness of the charge spread through your body. So that the energetic reorganization of your nervous system, your tissues, has a chance to really start to work on you, reorganize you. We'll come around one more time. And back. Okay, and then now we do the platter variation. Forward, gathering that charge, and releasing it. So there's quite a difference between the going forward, where you really get a sense of you've gathered some nerfy ball, energy ball between your hands, and the coming back, which is much more of a kind of a trailing of your fingers. It's got a lot more that's in common with the pulling in the energy when it comes back. Not as much of a focus right on the tips of your fingers, but still that sense of trailing and drawing back in again, and then gathering, releasing. We'll do 2 more. And here we go, last one. And back. And then the second side, and forward. Because of the repetitive nature of this approach to Tai Chi, there are particular areas that can really get the advantage of the movement, but also can feel somewhat challenged. And so the lower back, the knees, the shoulders, are all places where that can happen. And I just want to keep reminding you that as we move into our engagement with those areas, we always have a tendency to treat them like some object, some not myself that I'm working into, and to just really come in gently so that that attitude that we have toward those areas can get softened, that we can allow ourselves to get worked on by the sensations of that gentle working into an area. We'll come around one more time. And back. And then the bass drum. And even this one has a real wrist piece to it, that as your fingertips go toward the ceiling and toward the floor, your wrists are gradually getting educated about what's possible in movement, while they've got that energetic sense of connection between the hands to help guide them. We'll come around one more time after this, so coming through and back. And just part of that kind of getting those places that are getting worked into is also just to give yourself a chance. This is like the unknown pose in Tai Chi. It's never really named as a pose, but it's the place where you get to drop into yourself. And here we go with the second side. Yeah, good. We'll do 2 more. Around and back. Just to be here in this moment with this particular movement. And then the first of our daughters, daughter on the mountaintop. Left hand on the inside. And I'm just going to come sideways so you can kind of see that, How my hands are just staying in about the same place in front of my chest. Good. And one last time, come around and forward. And closing. So we complete the circle, your hands come over top and down. So every part of this, even as you come into the closing, has that sense of engagement. And then the second side, left hand still on the inside, gathering the energy and opening. Gathering and opening. And we'll do 2 more. So you just get that sense that you're going through heavy air and just feeling that sense of engagement through your whole body as you come to closing. Good. Okay, and then daughter in the valley. So now we get to take all that energy and kind of open up and step forward. Down, gather the charge. So this has got much more of a focus of release. The charge gathering is down here and lifting and then releasing. And just feel how that affects your body as you come up through the center and then open. How even the hand movements are working something through the core of your being. And we'll do 2 more. And last one. Up. And as your hands open, your feet come back and you just come down to rest. And then the second side. Down. And release again. So the sense of the movement taking you through space might also get you a sense of how the space around you supports you, how it moves fluidly around you and engages with you as you move. One more time. And back. And now we'll do the carry the ball to the side, so I'll just come across a little bit and wind up and across. Backhand a little more substantial as you come through here, fingertips toward the floor, fingertips toward the ceiling, and the third time, and up and in, and wind up again and step out to the left. You can really start to see how these hands as they come across are going with your body coming across, and then up and in and again. And across. And close. Briefest pause, and now we wind up going the opposite direction. So come across to the left and then step out to the right. And just let it work through your dantian, through your belly, and close. And again. Third time across. And one more time. And close. Good. And then we come to the push-pull. So sinking, both hands come up, foot forward. And those slightly almond-shaped movements with your hands coming out and then coming back. The back hand, the right hand in this case, just has a little bit more awareness in it, which gives it a little more sense of substance and engagement with that sense of heavy air. Just really get a sense of like, so what is this for me? How does it organize me as a whole being? How do I find a sense of meaning and connection in this movement? We'll do two more. And back. And then the second side. And so now the left hand is a little more substantial. So that as you've started to understand all the bits and pieces of this, you start to really feel what it's like to just inhabit this movement. To really feel how it brings you more into your sense of yourself as a being, as an organism that moves through space. We'll do one more time. And back. And then pulling in the energy. I can see a few people having to fix their screens. Are we losing clean connection again today? We'll do what we can. Forward. Yeah, and unfortunately, if some of you are hearing some background noise, there's some workmen outside here, and we might be getting some ambient noise coming in. I'll do my best to speak a little with my big space voice and see if we can overload some of that. just going through these movements, just again, just getting the sense of coming in through your fingertips and then coming back through your fingertips. We'll come around one more time. And then the second side. Forward over the front foot. And just really giving yourself a chance to take advantage of the uniqueness of this particular movement that really focuses on those fingertips. And so really awakens that part of your connection, both with your body, but also with the world. We'll do two more. And back. Okay, so now we'll start doing the tafis. So winding up again, this time with that left hand sweeping across underneath the right and close. Now the right hand sweeps underneath and across, anchoring and close. Winding up, stepping across to the left, anchoring with that right heel of the hand and then closing, winding up to the right or to the left and coming across to the right and close. One more time. Sinking, turning, coming across and close, and again. And close. Okay, so now we go into the anchor tafi. So we're going to start with a forward stepping movement and then go to the right, or to the left. So sinking, foot comes forward as the toe falls in. You get that slight more turning in with your whole torso. Forward. As your hand opens up in the front, you turn on the heel of your hand and step back in. A brief close and then off to the side. Now you wind up towards the left, right foot goes forward, open and step back, and then back to the right. And close. So that's our first time through. Let's try it again. Winding up, left foot steps forward, falls in. That back heel stays on the ground. That's the anchor. And across. Winding up to the left, stepping forward to the right. And now we go to the side. One last time, winding up to the right, left foot goes forward. Sweeping again, left foot goes to the side. Winding up to the left, right foot goes forward, toe falls in. Really anchoring through this heel of your hand. It's like probably the best movement for getting how that anchoring happens, because you've got a real long period of time for it to really help focus for you in that forward step movement. Was that the last one? I think it was, wasn't it? Okay, so now we will do the wrist circles taffy. So you do a little bit of a sink, and then you just go around that disc, around the disc, and stay down and come across to the left. Close. Sink as you come up onto the balls of your feet, around the disc, stay down, sweep, and come back across to the right. Okay, second time. Really get a sense of how those hands coming around kind of help lift your whole body from the pelvis up. Sinking up onto the balls of your feet. Second time. The third time around, you stay down and across. One last time. Up, up, and then winding up, sweeping across to the right, stepping across to the left. Close. Sinking onto the balls of your feet once. Onto the balls of your feet twice, staying down, winding up to the left, and stepping back across to the right and close. Great. And then the perpetual motion taffy, so sinking one more time and across we go. So just slight toe lift on the back foot and the heel comes up after it, right? But you kind of lead with the toe coming up first if you're able to. And back and forth, 9 sets. And just letting your body get that kind of turning a little bit as you come across while you've got anchored with that backhand for just the briefest of moments. One more time. Cross and back and close. And then our last two movements that we just learned. So first of all, working the pulley. So left hand comes up, left foot goes forward, around the disc, around the pulley, and back through your elbow, letting your body get twisted a little bit more than we're used to in this motion, letting the toe turn out on that forward foot as you go back, turning on the ball of your foot, a slight movement of your heel when you're at the front part. And just starting to feel how these two separate movements going back and forth kind of work through the core. They start to awaken a coordination of movement through the core of your body. So there's all this motion around the outside edges that really starts to help emphasize the sense of stillness up through the center. We'll do 2 more of these. And last time around, here we go forward. And then as I come back, that elbow leads through, and then the hand comes around and closes. And now we're going to go with the right foot. So the right hand goes forward, the left hand turns palm upward, and forward you go. So gradually you might start to get a sense of how these two hands actually have a sense of connectedness. That there's this sense of, as they go around, that they're really partnering with each other. So there's this sense of awakening of the core as a center of organization, like a gentle eye of a hurricane, and these hands that really start to notice how they are working together to move the charge. Okay, and we'll do 2 more of these. So here I come forward on my right foot and back, and 1 more time around. And then once again, that right arm draws me back, comes around, that left hand is waiting, and they come eventually down together. And then the 2 lights at the top of the head and lights at the temple. So sinking, drawing that energy up to the top of your head, and sink up onto the balls of your feet, slight lift of your heels as the hands just flick out just a little bit. 2, 3 times, and as you come in, you go round. And feel what you have awakened here under your hands with just a slight pause, and then sinking again, up and out as you go into the balls of your feet. So it's almost as if there's this fountain of energy opening up through the temple and then around. Sink, 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 sink. Come up with your left hand leading and come down. Slight resting position, and then back as you sink and draw up to your temples this time. So at this point, your feet are flat on the ground. Then you sink up onto the balls of your feet. Slight release with your heels from the ground. And the 3rd time out, and then you come in and circle, and just see if you can get some sense of what you're engaging with. Sometimes they talk about how feeling even through your middle finger helps kind of awaken what it is that you've got, but it's really still an energy thing through the palms of your hands. And then hold, so you can feel how that charge is there, and then we're going to release it by coming again onto the balls of the feet once, and just taking all that fuzz of static that builds up in our poor heads, and 3 times, and down and around, coming up with those cupped hands, and resting position. And then we'll finish with our cosmic consciousness pose, our one standing pose, as the left heel comes up on the inner ankle of the right. Hands come up with the palm of the left hand innermost. And then just really get a feel, first of all, where your foundation is, how you know your feet, how much do you know your feet are there, how that organizes you up through your legs and into your back, spine. And then as you notice up along your spine, just let your chin drop a little bit so you can see what it's like to just feel a possible slight lengthening in your spine to take advantage of all that opening you've done. Your eyes defocus through the fingers, and the awareness down into that Dantian area. To really let it, at the very end, be a center of the standing pose as much as it's been a center of the movements we've done. And just take a moment to kind of take all that in, to just feel yourself in this place. How am I here? And then to come to your closing, and then from there we'll just go into a bow, to just let ourselves acknowledge that something a little bit greater has moved through us, that we've opened and reconnected to the world a bit more. And that gratitude helps us get more of a sense of that place of being. And that's where we will come to a close today.